All right, everybody, I'm back at it again tonight. I don't know if this is a new video or continuation of the other video I was working on, but the other night we worked our butts off and we got the torque tube installed or removed, the new drive shaft in, the torque tube and transmission back in. I have the drive shaft shop axle stubs in. I don't know if you can see the bad boys there. Yeah, they're just these black things you can't really see, but we have literally the best of the best parts that we could bolt on this thing. Now, in time, will I need to do sequential transmission and quick change? Probably, you know what I'm saying? This Haas right here, the Steve Morris motor, it puts out. I'm telling you, it is arguably the baddest naturally aspirated LS in the world. I will put it up against anything. We can just stand on the rev limiter until we run out of fuel. I don't care. I'm willing to put my reputation and my pride up to back Steve on that, because this thing is bad to the bone. So with that being said, I got to finish getting this thing plumbed. I got to do a bunch of wiring. As you can see, I had a little extra spice in my coffee today, but I don't even drink coffee and I don't like spicy things. But I'm ready to party tonight. You know, it's been a good week in the shop. My guys are kicking butt. We got a bunch of things done. Like, things are rolling. I'm happy. So unfortunately, I will not be out in the Burn Bird this weekend at the Liberty Nats thing in Abilene. But, you know, our good buddy Zach got his truck ironed out, so I'm rooting for him. Get that $10,000 because you deserve it. But anyways, by the time this comes out, we'll all know how that transpired. But yeah, so I got to quit talking on this camera. I got to start working on this camera. So let's get after it. All right, so I got all of the fittings that we had already pre-drilled the bulkheads for, and all the lines made. I got a big old pile of lines. Oil lines, water lines, fuel lines, power steering lines. Like, it's all here. Look, I got 3 coolers up here, all plumbed in. Oil tanks plumbed in, oil filters plumbed in, power steering's plumbed in for the electric power steering pump. All the fuel lines are done. The nitrous is done up here. I do have the nitrous main feed line to come in, which I'm going to drill a bulkhead for. I have to hook an air line up, let me see, from here to the back of the car to the tank. It'll go to the solenoid actually first. And then I'm going to put a number 4 bulkhead right here for my fire suppression, because I like safety and I don't like my shit on fire. I do have this old Stroud bottle. I may get it checked out. This was a 21 bottle. We've never used it. It's still full. Thankfully, I've never had to use it. But, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do here. So I got those plumbed. All that's gonna be plumbed. So I'm gonna finish my bulkheads. I want to have the firewall forward all done, and then I'll go from the firewall, the front firewall, to the rear firewall. Now I have to change these 2 fittings that we used and change these 2 fittings that we used because we ran out of the colored ones when we were originally rushing this to get it done for LS Fest. But now that I have some time, I can get the fittings on here right. So we're gonna do those, and like I said, I will have 2 number 6s and a number 4 coming through here, air, nitrous, and then fire suppression. So I'll have to put 4 more holes up here, and then I also have to put 2 wire bulkheads here, because I have a big bulkhead for all my big power stuff, and I have a little bulkhead for all my blinkers and sensors and all that crap, because I still have to put sensors on this thing. But we'll get there. Plumbing first. As you can see, I got all my T, like double T job here for my air jacks. So yeah, basically air in, air out. It's gonna be really cool. And then I'll put a little T also right here again, probably for my quick air. That way if I'm out of air in the compressors, we can use shop air to jack this thing up, or if we don't have power. So, you know, it's all about planning ahead, because we're gonna have to work on this thing. There's no doubt about it. We're probably gonna break a couple things. There's no doubt about it. So we gotta make it easy to work on. We proved into ourselves the other day that the transmission differential and torque tube will come out. We had it out in about 30 minutes using basic tools, nothing crazy. Luckily I put dry brakes on both sets of brake lines. I put dry brakes on the transmission / diff cooler lines. Also dry brakes on this corner for the brake lines. And then I am going to add a couple of dry brakes for the rear cradle so we can drop all this out. So hypothetically, we should be able to remove the transmission, rear end, and torque tube all without losing any fluid. Oh yeah, and I have dry brakes on the clutch. So yeah, it should just, you know, be easy, which is ideally what we're after. And I might even put a dry brake in here, just for if I got to work on that, I can pull that out. If I got an issue, I can pull it out. Basically, I'm trying to make this thing to where it's easy to work on. We don't lose any fluids. I could pull brakes off of all 4 corners. They all got dry brakes. We'd never have to bleed the brakes again, hypothetically. So that's the plan here. But I got to drill, got to put some bulkheads in, got to make some short lines, got to get after it. All right, so one of the things that this car has that we put on all of our, performance cars is fire suppression. This is an old Stroud kit that I originally bought this car. I showed you guys the bottle before, but here's are the sprayers. It's got 2 2-port sprayers and 1 360 sprayer. The 2 2-port sprayers I usually try and point underneath the headers at the side of the block, because that's where the fire usually starts. And it'll just essentially water down the oil and cool the headers up. So that's what I want to do. This right here is my fire suppression hose. And it goes to T and T off to the other side. Alright, so yeah, this will T off to the other side. And then it comes here. And then what I do is I use these number 4 T bulkheads. As you can see, there is a part of it down here too, and nut. And then I just drill me the 7/16 hole for the number 4, put the nut on there, and then what I'll do is I'll use a number 4 female to female union, and what that allows it to do is literally just sit right here. I can aim it, tighten it down, and it'll spray it. So that's a little trick for you guys if you're trying to figure out how do I mount all this stuff. These little unions come in handy. And then what I'll do is I'll just use the number 4 cap at the bottom, right? And a cap here at the bottom. And since it's a bulkhead, it'll work perfectly. And then I'll do the same on the other side. And then I got a bulkhead T here, and then we'll just run this line back to the back. It's when you build this stuff, that's the kind of things that no one shares or no one tells. So that's why I make these videos, so you guys can see that. I think outside the box. I do things a little differently. I don't worry about cookie cutter crap. There's a whole industry for that, and it's not where I'm at. If you want to learn cool things and do cool things and push limits, and tear the box open, that's why I'm here. That's what I like to do. So nothing against those shops that just buy headers and exhaust kits and put them on and lift kits and put them on and stuff. I mean, they probably make way more money than me because I overcomplicate the way I build things. Like obviously my bulkhead and making all these hoses and stuff, I could have just ran the hoses just straight underneath the car and, you know, zip tied them to the underside of the car. Probably been fine for years, but, you know, I wanted to try this. I wanted to make this car 100% drivable with no body on there, and then bust loose a couple bolts, pull this rear cage off, and set the body on there. And that's what we're doing, you know. So, plus I think it looks cool, you know. It's got a bookend, it's got all these colors. I still need to change these number 16s here. I got the front ones changed. I'll change these rear ones, so it would be the first thing I do. And then this is our quick air for our air jacks. It's got a quick release deal here. So you do that, releases the air, push it in and closes that valve. You open it up like this here, put the shop air into it, it'll raise the car up. It's really cool. And then you just close this here, pull the air off, and it'll stay up. And then when you're ready to let her down, you just dump it like this here. So, you know, that's nice for like, you know, we're maintaining this thing, we got the batteries on that, right? So we can't use this electric solenoids or, you know, and I don't want to have a bunch of wall valves and all that crap. I just want to have it easy as can be. So that's one of the things I'm going to get going today. This is my air T here. So basically it's going to allow air to feed to all the air jacks, but not go to the tank because this solenoid is in between there. So yeah, it can work as a whole standalone air system mechanically, and then I'll have the electric side of it with the air tank and onboard air. Just thinking outside the box, like I always try and do. And then, so I got to get that plumbed in. It's number 6 line there. And then I got to mount the air tank. So it's one thing I've yet to do on this car is mount the air tank, because when I was looking at it and stuff, I just couldn't see a really good spot. But now that it's more together and all together, I'll be able to find a good spot for it. And then I'll plumb in the solenoid, and I'll plumb in all the air lines to that, and I'll plumb in the compressors to the tank. And then that way, again, all the plumbing, by the end of today, the plumbing will be 100% done. I got a few little fuel line things. You know, I got to make a fuel line from here to down there, and then from the back of the filter into the tank. Real easy stuff. And then the return will just go from there up into the radium sending unit there. No big deal. That should be pretty easy. I'm trying to think. I'm going to get with Nortex Dave probably again and try making these, for lack of a better word, just a number plate. We tried before, but it was too much of a crunch, and I just didn't like how it turned out. And so we're going to try it again. I think we can get it. You know, he's got more practice on his machine now and a better understanding of what I'm trying to do. And then I'll have this all together so we know he has to build around it. And then the only other thing I have to plumb in, I think, is going to be this radium quick fuel filler here. And I am going to put it over here on this number plate. So we'll have fuel on one side, air on the other. I might rotate these bottle openers just a little bit, just to kind of get them out of our way. Just that way we got a straight shot. And then I do have the radium quick fuel jugs. So we're going to look like a professional race team putting fuel in this thing, even though we're absolutely the opposite of that. We're just, you know, good old boys trying to have fun. But yeah, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get off this phone and stop talking and start working. All right, y'all, Sunday fun day. I came in today to finish a bunch of stuff on the NASROD. I got to finish all this wiring bundle. How do I go? This way. I got to finish all this wiring bundle here. I got a little bit of plumbing left to do. I am waiting on a few fittings that are going to help me tidy that up 100%. But yeah, I gotta get this going. I'm hoping today Zach will get me the rear brake, the hydraulic handbrake caliper mounts back today. He said he'd get them done. And then that way I can get the brakes and the plumbing and everything completely done, get this rear axle assembly back together. and then I'll just be down to just wiring and fluids, and I think it should fire after that. So I'm super excited. I'm going to show you guys a couple things that I did, a couple little tricks that I've figured out, and we'll go from there.